So for today's video, I'm going to be putting my guitar aside for a second, and I'm going to be talking about motivation and how to get results as a musician. So first things first, you want to set yourself up for success. Willpower is a limited resource, and you want to make things as easy as possible so that you have to expend the least amount of willpower during the day. Tip number one is set up ahead of time. We tend to spend a lot of time during setup, and we tend to expend a lot of energy, and most importantly, willpower. So you want to have everything set up before you actually start doing or start working on your project. For example, if you want to record an album, you don't want to spend time setting up the studio right before you start the actual recording session. This will affect your performance creatively and technically as well. Tip number two, create a plan with the purpose of creating habits. So why do we want to create habits? Well, a habit is something that we do daily, and we expend the least amount of willpower, again, by making a habit out of something. So for example, if you get a good work habit, then it feels less like work and it's a bit more fun. Instead of pushing and trying to get through your work, you actually get a pulling feeling. Your work pulls you. You want to work as much as possible because it's fun. You're actually making the decision to work a lot easier on you. Tip number three, set long-term goals. For example, you want to say, okay, I want to make my band successful. I want to be a good improviser, a great improviser. I want to be good at harmony and theory. I want to be good at ear training. These are things that take a long time to reach, so you want to make sure that these are things that you really want to achieve. Tip number four is to set specific short-term goals that will allow you and help you to achieve those long-term goals. So for example, if your long-term goal is to be a great improviser, you can start by learning different scales or different arpeggios or different applications of those scales and arpeggios. It all depends on what you want to do. You can also create weekly or daily short-term goals. So for example, you can put a blackboard on your room or around your workplace where you create daily goals, and you make sure that you erase those goals once they're done every single day. That way you create a sense of accountability, and you tend to work harder to reach those goals. Another thing is to make these goals real. You want to be able to achieve these goals on a daily basis. Don't write something that's totally unachievable in just one day. Try to make goals that you can achieve in 24 hours. Tip number five is create a strategy. So what are you going to do to achieve these goals? You could get a teacher to help you out with your goals. You could get books. You got to create a constant work schedule. So for example, if you buy a book, you gotta say, okay, I'm going to read this book at least 2 hours a day. I'm going to work on the different exercises that this book gives me. You can also watch videos on YouTube like this one. You can buy instructional videos, and also you can set aside different practice times during the day. So for example, you can say, okay, so I'm going to work or I'm going to practice from 8 to 10 in the morning every single day. Again, this is all about trying to expend as least amount of willpower during the day. So if you have a daily routine of practicing from 8 to 10, you don't have to fight to try and convince yourself to get to work. Tip number six is to actually get started and follow through with what you want to do. These are probably two of the hardest things to do. So to get started, just sit down, get in your workplace, have everything ready. You already have everything set up so that you don't have to expend willpower on starting your work. So you sit down, you get pulled in by your work because it's something that you love, and you start working. And then once you start, try to apply the follow-through to finish every single one of your projects. A lot of people tend to give up before they're done, and this is one of the reasons that most guys don't follow their dreams, because they get frustrated and they think that they cannot do things. By working and following through with your goals, you start seeing results which push you and get you to work harder on what you want. Tip number seven is document your results like an athlete. So for example, athletes tend to write down the amount of weight, the amount of reps that they do. So as musicians, we can do the same thing. For example, if you want to be a better improviser, or if you want to get faster at scales, you can write down the BPMs. For example, you can say, okay, I played the C major scale at 110 BPM and I was playing 16th notes. That way, the next day, you can try and surpass that. And you can create a bit of a game on trying to beat yourself every single day. The only way to do this is to have your results written down and try to surpass those results every single day. Tip number 8 is to create a reward system and to learn from your failures. So in terms of the reward system, don't just wait around till you get a big promotion at work or until you play a big concert, finish writing a book. celebrate the small things that you can accomplish. So for example, you learn this type of skill, or you learn how to apply this type of skill, or you finish writing a chapter of your book or 2 chapters. Go out with your friends, eat something that you might not eat normally, okay? Or just pat yourself on the back, look at yourself in the mirror and say, man, I'm proud of you for doing what you're doing. You're doing something that not a lot of people are actually willing to do, which is work on your dreams and try to work every single day to achieve something new that will help you find the results that you want out of life. Now, in terms of failure, you want to look at it as an opportunity. You don't want to look at it as an actual failure. Okay, so you want to learn, you want to analyze what you did wrong, and you want to try to fix that as soon as possible. For example, if you're playing something, if today your playing was a little bit dirtier than normal, or you couldn't reach those goals that you reached the days beforehand, you want to analyze your playing. You can look at video, you can look at your actual playing hand and say, okay, is my hand moving a little bit different? Am I a little bit more tense? Am I a bit more relaxed? What's actually going on? And that way you can find your strengths and your weaknesses. Tip number 9 is have fun and be grateful. Way too many people take themselves way too seriously, and they forget to have fun. They forget the feeling that they used to have when they started playing the instrument. We started playing the instrument because we had fun. It was a different way to communicate with the people around us. And more than anything, because it's what we love. Alright, you guys, that's it for this video. Remember to hit subscribe, hit the like button, and comment below. Follow me on Facebook for updates. You can follow me on Instagram for posts just about every other day. You can follow me on Twitter, where I post different musician tips of the day every single day. And you can look it up as #musiciantipoftheday. You can also follow me on my website, juanantoniomusic.com, where I post blog posts on a weekly basis. Alright, thanks for watching.